It has been a long road to opening the Gordie Howe International Bridge, and now it's scheduled to open in about 2 weeks. A live look at the bridge right now. Canada and Michigan signed a deal for the bridge way back in 2012. Construction began in 2018. The bridge's original fall of 2025 opening, well, that got pushed back, and then outstanding disputes between Canada and the U.S. would kick that June 12th opening date further down the road. But now sides have reached a deal to change things with some new toll revenue sharing. Canada paid the $4.6 billion project up front, planning to recoup that money from tolls. But now the new deal is the U.S. will get 50% of toll revenue profits right after any kind of operational costs. And they get veto power over any toll hike that is 10% more than current tolls. That's a huge chunk of the trade between the U.S. and Canada going right through Windsor and Detroit, and the Ambassador Bridge has been handling much of that. Data from the Bridge and Tunnel Operations Association shows the Ambassador Bridge has only gotten more traffic over the years. You can see a rise in both trucks and passenger cars since 2006. And then the pandemic hit. You can see a dent in those numbers. It drops off sharply there, but then they've been climbing back up ever since. Now, we should note the owner, though, the Maroon family, they have long opposed the Gordie Howe project. They donated $1 million to a Trump super PAC right before the bridge opening was delayed. All right, so now we think that we're nearing the finish line. We're pretty sure of this massive project. This morning, the mayor of Windsor, Dilkens, and Glenn Stevens with the Detroit Regional Chamber are joining me to talk more about not only the impacts, but I'm assuming frustrations on your side of the border as well. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's a pretty good assumption, I think. Let's just start with the fact that we think we're at a spot now where we're going to open. Frankly, I was surprised because the deal that was originally struck had Canada getting all that toll revenue to pay off that $4 billion project. I wasn't expecting to see the U.S. getting any money. Were you surprised?
Well, there had to be a pathway to open this bridge. It was completely constructed, it's ready to go, and it's been ready for quite some time.
Yeah.
And so we know the president launched his Truth Social post saying he wasn't going to allow it until the U.S. got a better deal. I think Canada strategically negotiated a deal that allowed the president to step down from that position. I highly doubt that there will be much revenue in the first 15 years going to some economic development organization that has been announced because all of the revenue is intended to pay off the cost of construction, which Canada paid for up front.
Right.
And so if this allowed the president to step down, then you know, good for everyone. It's a move forward. The bridge can open. And with respect to the toll issue, I mean, when do you ever see tolls rise more than 10% anyway? So this is sort of a red herring. It's a give. No big deal for us.
Yeah. Glenn, I want to bring you in here, but I have so many questions right off the bat. On your side of things, I'm assuming, again, there were a lot of frustrations. Is that fair?
Nick, this has been 25 years. Since the start of this conversation until the opening of the bridge has been a quarter of a century of dialogue and back and forth, twists and turns, legal fights, you name it. I mean, one could actually write a book, and it would be a very interesting book to read all the pieces put together. And so is there frustration? Sure. When we get to the fourth and goal on this, and then there's a Truth Social post, and all of a sudden everything's derailed and it gets traced back to the Maroon family, of course that's frustrating. And it's frustrating for those of us in Windsor. But don't forget, 8,000 people from Michigan helped build this bridge too. There's lots of excitement on both sides of the border to see this bridge open. So the fact that a deal has been reached, I think it makes sense. It allows everything to move forward, and we need to open this bridge. It's good for both of our economies. We're the auto capital of Canada and the U.S., the Motor City here, and at the end of the day, we operate on a just-in-time delivery basis. It is of paramount importance to be able to get parts and autos to market as quickly as possible. The Gordie Howe Bridge will be the most technologically advanced bridge when it opens between our two nations, and it's, like you say, a direct highway-to-highway connection. It will save the trucking industry a lot of money, and will save all of us a lot of money over time.
So that's actually the reason we asked Glenn to be here, not only from a Detroit region perspective on larger economy issues, but you've got a diverse and immense background in the auto industry. When we talk about JIT suppliers, which, by the way, JIT just in time, that's because these manufacturers are literally getting something off of a truck and putting it right on the assembly line. Like there are no parts waiting on the shelves usually. What do you think this will do for the automotive industry once this is actually open?
It's just plain enabling, and I compliment the mayor on his summary of things because we see eye to eye. This is good for both sides of the border, but the auto industry has to move very quick and more efficient. This new bridge, and by the way, the Ambassador Bridge will still play a key role in this, as will our bridges to the north. But what happens with the auto industry, this bridge has 6 lanes. and an entrance and an exit on both sides directly into freeways. It also has
No, we're going through neighborhoods? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, and
On one side of the
that's
bridge,
a problem. That has
Yeah.
been a real issue. And for the auto industry, time is money. For everyone it is, so this is enabling.
Yeah. A colleague brought up to me, and this is back to you, Mayor, that, and I really never thought about the trucking industry. Once they get to your side of the bridge, it's a pretty tight area. You know, the downtown Windsor area probably isn't easy for trucks to maneuver. I never thought about the upkeep that you must have to maintain the infrastructure, maintain the road, because trucks are heavy, they cause damage. Is that something you're looking forward to that you might have less of?
Well, certainly. When the Gordie Howe Bridge opens, we expect, some have said up to 70% of truck traffic will divert from the Ambassador Bridge to the Gordie. Don't forget, right now, folks have to drive from the end of the 401, which is our interstate in Ontario, and then they drive about 2 miles from the 401 up to the foot of the Ambassador Bridge. It's a municipal road. There are 7 traffic lights. So the trucks both ways have to go through 7 different traffic lights. The beauty of the Gordie Howe Bridge, direct highway-to-highway access. You could literally drive from Montreal to San Diego, and if you had enough fuel, you'd only have to stop to clear customs.
That's a very good point. Okay, Glenn, in terms of regional economy, you know, when we first started talking about the bridge, well over a decade ago at this point, it was touted that this was going to do so much for Detroit and Windsor, both in terms of the ability to move goods and people around, but also to attract people. I never thought about that, but can a bridge attract people?
Well, absolutely, and this region can together, and that's the key, and I think that was the vision that several prime ministers, governors, and presidents ago that we set this forth, that we were going to do this together with a long-range vision. And Ontario and Michigan are 2 incredible trade partners that are stronger together. So I think that when you look at the region, it's quality of life and place, and it's not just about commerce. We have thousands of healthcare workers that come from Windsor every day, and we also have travel and tourism that goes between our countries, and agriculture and all those things. It's enabling, and it's really a good thing for our economy and for really the future, hopefully, the Great Lakes region.
Right. When you look at the actual infrastructure of the bridge, we talked about the truck traffic, but it seems, and I wasn't part of the design team, so I have no idea, but it seems like it was intentionally designed to not only move big traffic, but move people faster. I don't think it's going to take you as long. Now, am I wrong there?
No, this is what we call ITS, Intelligent Transportation Systems. It is the most high-tech, the most secure infrastructure crossing probably in the world right now because it's so new. That means that it's safety and security, but the other thing is you've got bike lanes and walking lanes on a bridge, and that's going to be pretty cool for the citizens on both sides to be able to do that.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a short break here on Local 4 Live. When we come back, I want to talk more about the broader impact and what this bridge opening, ribbon cutting might look like. I don't know who's planning it. Maybe it's you. I have no clue. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Continuing our conversation here on the Gordie Howe International Bridge, the Windsor Mayor, Drew Dilkens, and Glenn Stevens of the Detroit Regional Chamber. We started the conversation about regional economy. One thing that surprised me when I saw some of the numbers on how much the ambassador anticipates losing, it wasn't as much as I thought. Do you think those numbers are correct when they say they're only looking at losing maybe 10% of traffic?
It's hard to say,
Okay.
But I think, again, we need to take the long-range vision of what our 2 countries can do together. I mean, there's a lot of people that think this region, really between Toronto, Detroit, and Chicago, has tremendous growth potential as things change, demographics change. And I think that's exactly why, people had the vision to build this bridge, also for redundancy. Having one bridge is not a good situation, particularly when it's 97 years old.
Right. I anticipate, and I could be completely wrong in this, that there's going to be a few years of people going on the bridge just because they want to do it, right? I mean, why wouldn't you? But then after a few years, I think that, and again, I could be wrong here, that you might end up seeing more personal traffic, just your normal everyday people using the ambassador in the tunnel, and then your commercial traffic might shift more towards Gordie Howe. Am I completely off base?
No, I think you're right, and I think it just depends where you're traveling to and from. And so we expect, as the city of Windsor and the city of Detroit, we each own our half of the Windsor-Detroit tunnel, and so we expect, and we're projecting, there's going to be a decrease in revenue for the first 6 months to a year as people explore the Gordie Howe Bridge. I want to drive over the Gordie Howe Bridge, right? But eventually, if I'm going to a Tigers game, if I'm going downtown Detroit, I'm going to take the tunnel because it's the downtown to downtown connection. from Windsor, if I'm going to Metro Airport, I'm going to take the Ambassador Bridge because it's the most efficient route to take. But if I'm going I-75 South or even 75 North, the Gordie Howe may be the most efficient way to go. People will figure it out over time.
Yeah.
But I think what Glenn said is also important, that it's important that the Ambassador Bridge remain a component of this ecosystem, that we need the redundancy. But we were also at this point because we looked forward and we said, what does future trade volume look like? And do we have enough capacity in this corridor to support future trade volume? And so despite the fact that we're on some shaky ground right now with President Trump and the relationship we have, this will normalize over time. And I expect trade to grow over time. So having this bridge in place is really important, and it's going to be great the first day we can drive across it.
What are the conversations on your side like when you've got downtown Windsor and Canadians, when they look across, they see the issues that we've gone through to get to this point? What are their conversations like?
Well, I think people are, again, it's been 25 years.
Yeah.
And so some people are just beaten down at the thought that this has taken that long. But I'll tell you, living in Windsor, and I'm sure folks in Detroit would think the same thing. We went through all of the trials and tribulations and the lawsuits over time to get where we are. We watched the pillars rise up out of the ground on both sides of the border. We watched the haves meet in the middle. We actually met in the middle and celebrated that connection. U.S. and Canadians met there. And it was a great moment and a great day. And to see where we are in the evolution of the construction, to know that it's ready to open and we're ready to, it's literally a connection between two countries and two great cities. But what it means for our economies moving forward is just, there's incredible opportunity here.
And that was my next question for you too, Glenn, is that a quick backstory. I had a friend of mine from California visit a couple summers ago, and one of the number one things on their list, they wanted to go to Canada. No disrespect, not because they wanted to go to Canada, it's because they wanted to experience that international opportunity. And at very few places do you get to just say, I want to jump to another city and just go over a bridge. Is that a draw from a regional and national perspective to even bring in tourists just because they want to stand on a riverbank and look at a different country?
Absolutely it is, and I think we have to take the long view on that too. There's some exciting things going on in our two regions, particularly in not just advanced manufacturing, where engines move back and forth every day, but in the innovation economy. Things like Michigan Central and what goes on in Windsor with innovation, all the way up the 401 into Waterloo and tying into our universities. That's huge economic potential that we can unlock.
That people don't necessarily think about.
They don't, but that's what attracts people. That's what attracts young people. That's what attracts international people. Canada's immigration policies are much more aggressive and progressive than ours. Hopefully we'll get back to that someday with some reform, but we have to be a growth region together.
Somebody said to me, it was just last week, that they thought that this bridge could bring in younger generations to both of our cities. Do you guys agree? A bridge can bring...
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah, I agree. Everything you just said, Glenn, in terms of the university ecosystem is really important, but we have and we will continue to celebrate our two-nation destination. We work in Windsor, we work with the folks in Detroit to promote that. It's actually a selling point. We are, Windsor and Detroit, we share the world's longest undefended border between the United States and Canada, and we are the two closest urban areas on either side of that border. I mean, nowhere else can you go and be that close to another urban area anywhere along this border. And so it brings great opportunity for us when we're attracting conferences or events that we can sell Detroit. And the converse is also true. And so we work together very, very closely. There's good things in store for all of us if we keep working together, and this bridge is just a symbol of that partnership.
I am not in any meeting whatsoever. I'm not sure if you guys are privy or can say it out loud, but what does the opening entail? What's it going to look like? What are we doing? Are we cutting a ribbon? Are we driving a couple of
I don't think either of us are in charge of it.
I'm looking at you. You're looking at me.
Hopefully, the governments of the two countries are working together. The states are working together. They have a plan, and hopefully we'll get an invite. I'm pretty sure you will.
Well, but it's an important point you raised, because in normal times, this would be the type of event where you would have the President of the United States meeting the Prime Minister of Canada, shaking hands in the middle, cutting a ribbon, and everyone celebrating. And
Is it going to look like that?
I don't know. But I'm hopeful that we can get to that point again, because we ought to get to that point. We are close friends, we are neighbors, we have so much more in common, and we are reliant on each other in so many ways. And whether the President comes, whether the Prime Minister comes, we're still going to have a great celebration. We look forward to the day the Gordie Howe Bridge opens in just a couple weeks' time, and I think it's going to be busy, so get in line.
Yeah, no kidding. You guys walking across it?
I'm going to ride my bike, my e-bike.
We're looking forward to it. Really are.
Yeah, I can't wait. Okay, before I let you go, Mayor, one very important question. When Journey sang about South Detroit, was that Windsor?
Of course. What else would it be?
That is a little thing when people come to our region, we like to show them that this is the only place in the United States that you can look south on Canada, and it kind of baffles people.
Everybody.
But-
yeah, they don't get it. You have to
But
pull out the map and prove it.
the Straits bend.
That's right.
Okay, bridge opening on the 27th. Fingers crossed. There's no reason to say it's not. Other things have changed now. Thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate it today.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Nick.
having us.
Thank you.